When I was a kid, I had a dream. A dream to find a village and surround it in walls and be the king. But all dreams come from somewhere, right? And it came from these old videos I used to watch where it's all modded and you have these lively villagers and you can talk to them, even have kids. But when it came to my turn attempting it in vanilla, all of the spark was just lost. There was nothing there. But today, that all changes because I found out about minecolonies. It's a city builder mod with hours of gameplay, and today I will be living, surviving, and thriving for 100 days. So sit back, subscribe, and enjoy the video. I loaded up into the world and did what anyone would do. Take 1 whole minute to mine a tree. Like, that doesn't seem much, but it is. Anyway, I got some wood and my first viewer slash friend came onto the stream. Shout out to Jackal, you are amazing. After doing a little more walking, I came across a pillager outpost, and using my extensive knowledge of Minecraft from the Minecraft books, I know that there is a village nearby. And would you look at that? A town for me to permanently borrow from. After going through the infected village of gemstones, we move on to day 1. After cleaning up the village for food, I decided to find a nice place for my colony to be set up. Firstly, I needed to make this town hall block to start my city. This town hall is very important because it will be the centerpiece and allow for my colony to be upgraded in the future. But first, I needed to choose a style of building. So obviously I asked my chat, aka Jackal, because he's the only one there. After looking at all the options, we decided on a cliffside mixed with a Nordic spruce. On day 2, I eventually decided on a spot for the town hall, but the block was in a very awkward position. However, finally 4 people spawned in, ready for me to give them a job. And the very first one we need is a builder, because without builders, we can't build a living space for our job sites. I wanted to build a builder balloon with a little ship in the sky, which, let's be real, that sounds amazing. I could already see the vision of ships in the sky making my city. So I started collecting the wood. Though, as night fell, sadly I could not outskill these skeletons, losing our first life and bringing us to day 3. On day 3, I realized that the city is not going to work because even though I got the builder up to the boat, they needed over 2,000 dirt pieces, which I'm assuming is what needed to build up and around the ship rather than keep it floating. But that wasn't even the biggest problem. I didn't have any spruce, and there wasn't any in sight. And to make matters worse, I didn't know what a courier is, and still not sure what that means. They keep asking. I think it means someone who brings them resources. How about you guys let me know in the comments? Day 4, I spent contemplating many things, like, will I ever find spruce? How long might I have to walk for? Should I even do cliffs, or is that too much? And is arcane better than One Piece? Or is that just recency bias time? I kept walking, however, and after I found this soulless iron golem and a couple other villages, a dungeon, some iron, and finally some goddamn spruce. After finally collecting my reward for my travel, I realized that I'm right next to a canyon, perfect for a cliffside city. However, we still have the issue of 2,000 dirt blocks, and I personally didn't want to deal with that for 100 days straight. Luckily, we also found a birch forest on our travels, so after talking to Matrix in the chat, perhaps we could do cliffs as well as Caledonia because it looks very nice, perhaps maybe even both, but first we have to brave the night. As if I died here, we would be sent back over 1,000 blocks away. You might suggest to use a bed, but I'm not gonna lie, this entire day I spent choosing which style I wanted as there was way too many options. I had to weigh up how nice it looked versus how difficult the blocks are to get, but after a long ass debate we decided to settle on medieval birch. As there's many different alt builds, allowing a variation of different profession houses. Unfortunately, I didn't realize how difficult some blocks are to get in this style and until later in the video. Day 7, we're finally onto the building stage. Maybe we took too long, but oh well. First, I made a spot for the town hall, which will help us recruit new citizens, as well as getting our first builder. The most important member, as they are the ones who create legitimately everything. And I mean everything, from the professions houses to the homes. They need to build their own hut before moving on to other houses. So I had my guy, Kason V. Anesley. I don't think I said that right. He requested I give him shears and a shovel to clear out the area for the build. After I realized I couldn't go to sleep because of the incident, I decided to hire some mercenaries for a price. But honestly, they didn't steal much. Day 8, I decided to hire a second builder, as having 2 builders will make our city grow way quicker. And I must say, an emerald pickaxe is insanely fast. Better than diamond and easier to get. So let's put that on our to-do list for later. But I started to realize that the start of our city is very much fetch quests, as we don't have anyone to gather materials for us. This usually I don't mind, as when I play Minecraft, all I do is search for my materials and then build a horribly designed base. Usually by then, my 2-week phase is over. However, this city building has definitely increased that time, as it's really enjoyable to see my city grow more and more as the days go on. Now, I was getting annoyed with the lack of bed and the ability not to sleep, so I set out on a journey, saying goodbye to the villages and into the unknown, only to find a horse and an abandoned city. I stole all of their stuff. Thank you very much. Sadly, I had to ditch my horse. You will be remembered forever. Sorry, we will miss you. After making it back home, I did some gathering, finding our first dungeon and collecting some loot before heading off to bed. Day 10, collecting loot from day 9, I found a supply can, so I decided to place it down and see what I would get. I didn't think it would be an entire placeable carriage, but I decided it should be my starter base. It had many things such as stone tools for my builders, some hay for food, and wood for building. I did some fetch quests after that. Forester is slightly annoying to get, but it's okay. Day 11, I started on building a forester for getting wood for future builds and projects. Otherwise, I did some fetch quests. Day 12, I finally got the forester up and running. So say hello to Carl's M. Taylor. Be collecting the wood for our future builds. The citizens kept complaining about this food thing, so I decided to build them a farm or whatever. In fact, while this farm was getting built, Cleo got stuck in this hole somehow, so I had to dig her out, and I didn't even get a thank you. So now she is the farm. And crazy enough, my forester had disappeared. I thought since they all come to the town hall at night, he'd walk right back, but he didn't, so in a panic, I scoured everywhere. Luckily, I found a teleport button. Taylor is finally back with us from his visit to the Void. I gave Taylor his axe and realizing that I had no iron for his shears, so I decided to go on the first mining trips of the entire video. After giving him the shears, we saw the first ever logging. We finished up the farm and then gave Miss Chloe a field. It had a scarecrow, which is actually kind of annoying to get because I don't have a cow farm. While that was happening, I finally started work on the town hall. I wanted more people in the colony so I could get a miner so they can mine stuff for buildings. That way I can be lazy and do nothing. Maybe I'll do a little crate on the side. I got working on the house, that way I can have enough space for new people to come in. But I had a hard time deciding what building I wanted to make. Unknowingly, I chose the more expensive one, sparking one of the most frustrating journeys I will have in 100 days. While this was happening, I realized that I placed down the completely wrong town hall. So this is the new one. Day 17 was spent cleaning around the area and stuff, but I did find a chicken jockey and that's awesome. Day 18, I found out that I can find out what my citizens are feeling. And I was convinced that my farmer was doing nothing but standing there. Oh, you guys know that frustrating journey? Yeah, that was now starting. I could not find diorite for the life of me. No matter how many zombies I asked, hey buddy, have you seen any diorite? No one had diorite. Day 19, daily checks around the town has started to become very normal now, making sure everyone has their tools and working properly. I even saw Taylor become a machine. And he replants them too! Yes! 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 I wanted to get a horse because I knew finding diorite would become a long ass endeavor. But after I tamed the horse, I actually realized I could just make a plane! Yeah, baby, this is what I've been waiting for. This baby can go crazy fast, and I mean real fast, like faster than fast, you know? Like, I was in a call with Bitter at the time, and she told me that I'd find some diorite in the savannah. Now, an important note here is that Bitter is colorblind. I don't think she knows the difference between diorite and granite. There was zero diorite to be found yet again. That may seem not too bad, but it's the main building block for most of the town builds. I went to the skies once again, thinking maybe I would find it somewhere, like right over there. Oh, never mind, it's just bloody calcite. After talking to Bitter, she said that I have to find a vanilla biome, which is basically impossible, and I should use quartz to make diorite instead. So I went home in defeat, ready to get some rest. But I woke up to a tragedy. Taylor is dead. My king, my forester. Forever, Taylor will be remembered. Perhaps in the future, I will make a statue for him. On day 22, we stole all the obsidian from the nearby portal to make a nice local portal for all my nether quartz needs. So, let's go in. Okay, please be a bunch of quartz. Where am I? This ain't Quartland. There's no... Okay, we got that at least. Oh my god, it's quartz. Let's go. Bitter told me later that I could use soul soil in the create mod to wash it and turn it into quartz. So that's exactly what I did. I collected a couple stacks and turned it into quartz for diorite. Day 24, I decided to take a break from my colonies mod and look for some other things. It was perfect timing as I started to actually run out of storage, so I needed to invest in this sophisticated backpacks mod. So I collected some leather and made some backpacks. It basically stored not much. I upgraded it all the way to gold. So I had some gold left over from that. I decided to upgrade my 2 chests as well. Now, knowing how much leather everything costed, I made the cow hole. One of my builders also taught me about this resource scroll, needed for a build wherever you go in the world. Too bad I won't ever use it. After that, I went on an unsuccessful hunt for andesite and came back to day 26. Day 26, I set my sights on better tools and armor. So I sold all the hay bales nearby and then sold it right back to them for a maximum profit. After this, I continued the unsuccessful journey for andesite. Then I realized something. Why look for it naturally when I can just steal? This house is now mine. Okay, well, this is going to be my main way of getting diorite and andesite. And maybe I'll actually do some farms if we run out of houses to snatch from. But considering that 30 andesite is not much, I used the ones to create a water wheel attached to the crusher and make some more andesite. Day 28, I spent gathering the materials for andesite, aka mining gravel, for the entire day. Now let's see if this works. Yeah. Day 29. It didn't work at all. It gave me a block of flint and compressed gravel. I must have somehow put it in wrong. So I made a mixer instead, to try to turn my recently gathered diorite into andesite. I just know this is going to bite me later in the series. I also realized the recipe line. I don't need a mixer, I can just craft it. After that, I spent a day collecting resources and giving them to the builders. Day 31, I realized how enjoyable just watching this NPC build something is, but it's probably a bit boring for the stream, so I did more create and by making cogwheels go faster and making the washer for my soul soil I collected on day 23. I got a little distracted as the town hall was actually finished, so I checked it out. This is it. The rusty old town hall. It's actually kind of cool, even though it looks like meh. Getting back on track though, I hope this worked unlike my other create ideas. Yeah, it turned into nothing. After double checking the recipe, I realized it's actually a 12% chance, so I threw the entire stack in. Yo, not much. But I did get 27. Right after that, the home was actually finally finished. I thought I'd be able to get one more person in the colony, but sadly no. But then I remembered the tavern. I can just hire people for the mine, so that was my next goal for this series. Blending it down in a nice spot as we move on to day 32. On day 32, I collected all the materials for the tavern, besides these infamous beds, because I have 0 sheep to my name. I thought I could just rob some neighboring towns. I'm sure they won't mind. It's not like anyone lives there or anything. You didn't see that. Coming home, I hope I could dye the beds white as the builder only wanted white. I could not, however, but I could make some soap using some pig fat, some ash, and some water. How do you get ash, you ask? Awesome. After I made some soap and completed the bed supply mission. So day 36, I actually finished supplying the materials for the tavern and turned my attention to the upgrade of the first builder's hut. He requested that I get some polished andesite and granite and diorite, an odd requesting ordering how small it was, but I didn't question it and went on the plan and grabbed the materials anyway. After that, I went to watch the tavern be built. It had 4 beds for spaces, allowing us to have more room for the miner that I wanted. I was hoping he would mine some diorite somehow for our future projects. Unfortunately, it started raining and the builders refused to build, even if they have a roof under their head. So I decided to get some sugar for enchanting later on. Day 37, the tavern was finally finished and people came pouring in. I had like this option to hire them if I wanted, to allow them to become a permanent resident. This lady here had amazing stats, I must say, and had some history in guarding, prompting me to start the construction of our first guard tower. After some deliberation, I decided to build it in the center of the town to protect as many people as possible. Out of nowhere, Glennon decided to have a child, and that means I don't have enough room to hire the guard. Past Fancy, you can take it over from here.
Who had a child? Glennon. The forester. How did you have a child? You have no partner, but you have a child? Wait, you're a guy. How did you even conceive a child? Are we allowed to remove a child? Is that a thing? Can I do that? Is that allowed? Or is that morally questionable? Because I mean, if it's fine, we could get rid of the child. Oh no.
I went venturing into the mines to get redstone as I needed it to hire someone, and some diamonds for enchanting. I'm lucky I had the cat slipper though, as I scare away all creepers from me, meaning I never ever had to deal with them. There was many dungeons in the mines, so I even had to sneak around as Skulk grew along the walls and shriekers could be anywhere. After stealing some things from more dungeons, I eventually found the redstone I needed and tortoises. Wait, what? Or tortoises? That's cool. That's cool. That is actually cool. But like there's this skeleton who wanted to kill him. So I had to step in and I got blinded a couple times. I had really close call, but I eventually came out on top and stole his funny looking hat. Later, as I was mining some ore, a little goblin guy came up to me and he had some absolutely wonderful trades, doubling my iron and smelting it for me. After that, I decided to head home and hire the guard. Day 40. I decided to create an enchanting table and do some low-level enchants. I quickly found out though that the enchanting is changed into some sort of Tetris minigame, which honestly I really enjoyed a lot and thought it was a wonderful idea. However, I didn't realize until later that you could also combine the blocks to upgrade the level. So for now, I was stuck with low-level enchants. We also got a big surprise from Midori Time TV, my favorite Japanese streamer. She's so funny, make sure to go check her out. And yes, she does understand English, so don't worry. After her visit, I hired some guards for the town so that no one has to complain about protection anymore. I also found out that they can become an archer or a druid, which sounds awesome, and guards don't actually take up any bed space, allowing me to hire one more person into the town. Unfortunately, I couldn't give them iron armor, so I spent the rest of day 42 getting leather armor. Day 43, I ran around collecting things for the second level, and I found a big tree. Yep. Day 44, though, I began choosing the construction of the mine. After, I gave a quick tour to one of my Twitch viewers of the new town. Go follow me, twitch.tv/fancy_. I'm probably going to learn Blender next. Near the end of day 44, the builder's hut was finally finished. Oh, look at this. I went to go clean up the mining area afterwards. I was rudely interrupted by a pillager. Fearing that the bad omen would start in the rain, I just watched the guards demolish the invaders. At day 45, I actually tested out the second level of the builder's hut by giving them iron tools, and they are actually able to use them, which is awesome. The rest of my day was spent collecting materials for the mine while talking to chat about things such as my goat Germa. Everyone loves Germa. In the night of 45, however, I wanted to build a courier house as the villagers people kept asking, "What is the courier?" So I set it up for later as it requires a warehouse to start working. But I got attacked in the meantime. Luckily, Madeline saved me. Skok suggested I should marry her. So we'll find out if that's possible later in the video. Anyway, we sat down the warehouse and moved on to day 46. I'm not gonna lie, I was kind of eating while watching the miner at work. So as we stream, we watched some Noam Wheatley. As I recently started playing the accursed game, lol. But now I play Marvel Rivals, so. At day 47, I kind of realized how horrible I am at keeping my villagers fed, so it prompted me to make a restaurant. Cause I tunnel vision so hard getting the mine to work so I can potentially get diorite. That being said, the builder finally did finish the mine, letting Cookie to work. I was streaming for 5 hours straight at this point. This did not help as I got jump scared by this. Whoa! Huh? What the? Barbarians? What the frick? Lucky for me, I chose a high spot up in a mountain, so all the barbarians just didn't make it up the mountain. So day 48, my town actually could not operate as we're being raided, which is just not even true. So I had to search everywhere, finding them in a random ass cave for no reason at all. But before I found them, I found this absolute king of a zombie. He actually dropped his backpack with a jukebox augmentation. That means I can play some music from my backpack while taking out these barbarians.
builders. Day 49, I actually started the upgrade for the forester so I can get a lot more wood much quicker for the other builds I'm planning on making. I also supplied the materials for the restaurant, which went really quick as I have a lot of materials from the older builds and my benches in my backpack, which that actually felt really good that I had them on hand and I didn't have to go collect them like every other time. Later, I checked up on the miner, giving him oak ladders and realized that he has dug out literally nothing. Later, I will realize these oak ladders was not going to be the first in his 1 million requests for blocks. Before day 50 half, I found out that guards do sleep while sitting down. Well, I imagine him as being one of those knights next to those bonfire meme, so that's what they're called.
Day 50, we are finally halfway. This is absolutely wonderful news, but after spending 50 days building this town, I had a sudden realization. I don't think I can grow this town enough in another 50 days. And it's quite lonely having all this and no one to share it with. So from now on, you'll be seeing some visits from the neighboring towns. Friends that will be helping me on my journey. Anyway, now it's time to rob another abandoned town, my favorite pastime.
Day 51, I actually did some small tasks around the town, such as material gathering and giving it to the builders. Essentially what the courier does, and that's why I need him. Also, the forester leveled up so he can finally use iron tools. Since the builder was done with that, I wanted him to start in the warehouse, but I can only start it through the warehouse block. Unfortunately, I could not find it all. I spent 30 minutes looking for it, only to place down a new warehouse block. Day 52, at this point, Skug's joined the world and ready to help with the warehouse. I wanted to retrieve him with a plane, but it only had one seat. So I had to run around shearing sheep to make myself a two-seated blimp. This took me a full day, and I made sure to get some upgrades for the blimp as I set off to find Skux. After a night of traveling, I found Skux finally. Look at him, he's so small down there. Anyway, I brought him home and geared him up. I gave Skux the choice to either make a kingdom over the other mountain and then become either enemies or allies, but Skux chose to help me with my kingdom and flourish with me instead. Day 55. At this point, the courier's house was completed and the restaurant was also complete, but we had no people to look after them. So I decided to do some small terraforming at the courier's house so it doesn't look like it's floating off the air. Day 56 and 57 are useless, so you don't need to see them. We're going straight to 58. Day 58, I was attempting to get the second builder of level 2 as we needed a lot more speed for housing because we need people for the restaurant and the courier. While I am doing this, the warehouse is also getting built, meaning when we get the courier, they can take the items from the forester and the miner and whatever and put it in the warehouse and then give it to the builders. Day 59, I started on the residential district where I'm gonna have a line of houses for literally everyone as I need people for all my vacant jobs. So I locked in into getting everything for this guy, even flying out to get materials for this guy. But at night, I saw something in the corner of my eye. A normal Minecraft skin. There was this lion girl, and she had some extremely good statistics, but it costed an entire enchanting table. Day 60, I decided to make a little town map. It looked really cool, but maybe I'd fill it up later. After, I gave all the builders all they needed to start building, but they just didn't? That's because I kind of ignored all their messages saying they have influenza, which I won't realize till later, because the barbarians decided to raid once again, which legit took me the entire night to find them. They actually disappeared into thin air. On day 61, I actually needed potatoes and carrots to cure this influenza for the builder, which I actually had no potato at all. I actually don't know how that cures influenza, so maybe you guys can tell me in the comments. But anyway, I robbed a local farmer for his potatoes, so now that I can cure the builder and get back on track. Day 62, finally the builder can now upgrade the hut because they're not infected. So with that, I moved on to seeing what the miner wanted, but the builder just finished the residence building, so I actually decided I would go recruit the lion girl instead, but this happened. What up? What? That was the most waste of resources I've ever done in my entire life. Then she asked me for a clipboard or something. I have no clue what she was doing. She went to the builder, became a hunchback, and ran off.
Can I help you?
Okay. The clipboard gave me the requests, and I'm not gonna lie, I never used it, not even once. However, on the night of 62, I made a request for the second residence. We got some wonderful news. I actually got a follow on my Twitch. Yes! Yes! And then it was followed up by a witch. And now my future wife, Madeline, is dead. But I'm buying Enderman. The rest of the day, I cured the people in influenza, thinking about the loss that we had, making me think that I need another farm or hospital. So, I tried to switch Haley to carrots.
Day 64. The lion girl is dead. Yep, the one I spent my long hard-earned enchanting table on. This is horrible. I was lacking some materials, so I went to go steal off some more abandoned housings. Maybe that will make me feel better, but I found this cool camera mode. Whoa. What? What? After, I stole some roofs and more roofs. On day 65, I decided that I need a university so I can just, research things like the hospital because everyone's getting ill. But after figuring out where I wanted it, I just decided to chuck it near my area, not realizing that a lot of mobs will spawn in those woods next to it. So I cut down some trees to make it easier for my builder and did some requests around the place. So on day 66, I got my first ever customer in the restaurant. Yeah, too bad I don't have a cook to make them any food. Yeah, poor fella will be starving. Remember how I told you that mobs would spawn in these woods? Yeah, this is me finding out the hard way. Day 67, another resident got built, so I went to hire someone, but the only person had a really expensive offer because someone attacked me, and I just had to kill him. It was self-defense, alright? So I lost reputation in the tavern. I decided to build a guard tower afterwards. For the rest of the day, I followed around the courier to see if he's doing his job, which he is, so good job, man. On a wonderful morning of day 68, I watched some building, and oh my god. I don't know. No! Reynold, run! Reynold, run! Reynold! Oh my god, Reynold almost died. He got shot by a skeleton. After that wonderful save by me, the guard tower was completed and I started the construction of the second farm. After that, I went mining and found this absolute gorgeous crystal mine, and as well as finding myself a new hat. I feel an itching for gold, but I just can't put my finger on why though. Back home on day 69, I used the spoils of my labor, but then I realized I didn't get any diamonds. I can't restore the enchanting table I once had, so I went straight back to the mines on the quest for diamonds. I got one, but it's only one. These veins are so disappointing, man. Day 70, I finally got myself a cook. Now residents don't have to go starving anymore. And a bonus, his last name is Cheddar, cheese, cheddar, cheese. That's literally the most perfect fit. I gave Cheddar all my top food, leaving myself with some stale bread as my town really deserves it, hoping that people would regularly eat. And then afterwards, I had a really nice chat with a chatter of mine. Thank you, Jupiter. While this was happening, I placed the second farm for the hopes of helping the influenza. Day 72, I was questioned if I pay the people I live here, what am I, the government? Anyway, finally the university was being built, which is one step to curing my citizens from lethal diseases. But more importantly, legitimately every upgrade in the path of the entire game. Then I checked on the mine and he actually made some nice progress. And for the third time, the barbarians spawned. Maybe I'll actually fight them this time. That was way too easy. Day 73, I woke up to some sounds and then I forgot to record the rest. Day 74, I found myself in an ancient city, scouring and possibly diamonds for an enchanting table. With the usual ancient city clear of stealing the wool, placing it down around skulks so they don't activate, I found some pretty, actually mediocre loot, and a diamond hoe being the best loot I found. There was some close calls with spiders and shriekers, but I managed to escape out with my life. Day 75, I used the supply crate I got from the dungeon while in the mines to create this really cool looking air balloon. A good reason why I didn't continue with clips in the first day is because of this. You have to make dirt placings around it just for it to work properly. And that would be painful doing every single time. But after it was done, I had a lot more resources, which was really nice. Lastly, I remade the enchanting table. No, it's not called an enchantment table, that's just wrong. Day 76, I decided to disenchant my pickaxe as vein miner did not only just work on woods, it actually worked on stone. Which as much as that can come in handy, majority of the time it does not. Maybe one day I will get efficiency 4 again, but today we're going to be stuck with efficiency 2. I also decided to change the colony banner as well. However, I didn't make it too fancy as I was under the impression I needed to craft it for the builder. I was sorely mistaken as it's not crafting the banner, it's a completely different item. However, now my plane has some cool banners on it. Day 77, I found out that everyone's name is red and I was freaking out what does it mean? Are we getting attacked or something? But I thought maybe it was because I changed the colony color before, and luckily I was right. So I can change it to pink or blue. Blue is quite nice. Anyway, I continue to build up my residential district. I notice this place is not very nice.
There's no pathways to each building, so I did some path making, but stone was not the best. So I decided to just go with the normal pathways with some street lights with these nice looking lanterns. I continued with this on day 78, making a path to the newly built university. I looked at it with all of the research options, which is insane how many different options there are. I wanted to get a lot like the sawmill, the barracks, and the hospital, but I decided the hospital would be more important. So I started my research on that. As well as making a good deal, 9 sunflowers. Would you take that deal? I'd take that deal. That's a damn good deal. Day 79, I was with people dying in the wood. So I expanded my reach, placing a second guard tower, and then I decided I would fly to an abandoned town, and I just want to say, first person plane is one of the coolest things ever. And then after, just before bed, a person had died, bringing me up to too many deaths in the colony. Now day 80, not much left to go. I had a request to find an oxide daisy, and the last time I checked, they didn't exist in this modern world, but I went out to find them anyway. I found some cool tulips and some other items and even a white lily in the mountain, and maybe crashed my plane in the water. Day 81, I got so fed up with not finding it, I searched it up. And lo and behold, you can just craft it with the low price of 2 orange tulips. Which sounds horrible because we don't have any, but we need the lily of the valley, which we did find, and that's finally some good news. We also hired some new help because people keep dying everywhere. On day 82, we had a wonderful guest on, Bitter Nymph. So I got in my blimp and started my journey to bring her back to town. Ah, look, there she is, so small. And we did a stream together, so you might actually see some people chatting in the chat, because Bitter is way more popular than me. Well, let's give it bitches. Can you hear that? That's Bitter Nymph flying the blimp. Oh, an explosion. I wonder what that could be. Yeah. Bitter crashed the blimp. Yeah, Bitter had to run all the way back. On day 83, as Bitter was walking back, I decided to check up on the level 2 house. It's actually pretty nice, and it adds this another little sleeping space for a new resident. Oh, and Bitter found this fella. He sells grape juice. Huh. Grape juice. Sure, buddy. I'll take your entire stock. I also showed Bitter around. On day 84, Bitter set up a nice little cozy cabin down there on the mountain, and while she was building, I stole some wheat and sold it to Mr. Ginter here. Also, while I was showing the town around again, I found Asuna from Sword Art Online, just simply roaming around the bloody place. Day 85, I was eating my cheesy biscuits. Fucking good shit. While this was happening, Scopes was speedrunning the trade market. On the night of 88, I found a wolf roaming in my forest, so with enough bones, he became my first companion. Day 89, we need to now name this dog. So I asked mine and Better's viewers what we should name it. We got many requests such as Bingus 2, Wackus Bongus, and Salad, but eventually Wackus Bongus was voted. Good job, the real red one. You won. I also decided to research a school so I don't need to hire people from the tavern. When kids are born, they gain better stats. On a side note, Skux came back with a ton of emeralds, so now I have a full emerald set. Thank you, Skux. On day 90, I needed some diorite, so back to the old stripping of houses again. Today, Trick joined us as well.
2 blocks of fuel in that thing.
What is he doing? Day 91, we are officially on the last stream for 100 days. I wanted to do something more different than just doing chores and growing the town, but what? I decided, you know what, I should make a grand hole in the side of the mountain, like I've seen in, I think, Viking things. Correct me if I'm wrong. This would be good as I haven't actually built anything for myself these past days, and I finally get to do something. So on day 92, I used the cherry blocks to build a little pathway down to the spot of the mountain. I went to collect some blocks, but I found this giant hole, so I decided to check it out. I found someone's little campfire here, and some diamonds, and even a shrieker. After some more investigation, I decided to finally go home. I wanted to make some stone slabs, but I used cobblestone, finding out I can actually make cobble bricks, which I decided to use in my build. Day 93, I made a small entrance to the stairway, and started to dig out this place. I enchanted my pickaxe with an excavator and decided to try it out. It definitely excavated, but not how I wanted, but it got the job done for now. And with my new abundance of cobblestone, I wanted to use the cobblestone bricks as my floor of this hole. Day 94, I really enjoyed the dark bark of the cherry logs, so I used them as a sort of support beams for the future roof. With the skeleton of the hole done, I needed something to fill it in. And I was thinking like vertical slabs, but oh yeah, did not go how I wanted. Luckily, we had this oak palisade, which actually was perfect. On day 95, we had to choose what we wanted for the roof. My friend Deer Milk suggested birch, but that wasn't quite right, and the orange was definitely not it. We came across some deep slate and it matched well with the logs, so voila. But on day 96, we had a little side quest going to get more deep slate. I ran into this sort of crypt with zombie spawners, so if I ever needed XP, this is the place. Besides getting a little lost, I eventually made it back and finished the starter bit of the hole. On day 97, I decided I wanted to make this stage at the end of the hole, but I didn't have enough room, so I decided to make this little half-moon circle vibe near the end of the hole, with a roof encaving. 2 more days. On day 98, I decided this place needed a chandelier, like one of those big fancy holes they have at noble gatherings. I think this turned out pretty nicely. I also built this stage along with it, and I decided that people needed a place to sit. So I made some classic chairs and tables, but saw that I can make modded chairs, so I used them instead. While this was happening, we gained a new friend. Meet Edward the Enderman. And that finally brings us to day 100. This was actually one of the most fun I've ever had playing Minecraft since I was a kid exploring. I really enjoyed the city, making progress, and I'm willing to make it 200 days if you guys want. We had many losses, but just as many highs with completed buildings and flying planes. This is truly an enjoyable experience, and I thank you all for joining me on Twitch and watching me play. It was so much fun talking to you all. Goodbye everyone, and I'll see you in the next video.